Good evening, guys. I was on my walk just a minute ago, and I try to pray when I'm on my walk. Sometimes I listen to music, and sometimes I just walk and talk to the Lord on my way. Just walking and listening to trying to hear, what He might have to say, or try to hear something, And He'll bring a lot of stuff to my mind sometimes. And I've heard this scripture a lot lately because of the way things are going right now. I'm going to start at Ephesians chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 10. And verse 12 is the one I really want to focus on, but I want to read everything before and after that as well. Okay. Verse 10, it says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." Here's the verse, number 12. "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints." So, this number 12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood." And I've heard that. Oh, hang on, I just dropped something. I've heard that, how we hear things. We hear the same verse many, many, many times. Sorry. And we could hear it 1,000 times, and it would mean we would hear it the same way 1,000 times, and then maybe just that one other time it would sound off a whole different meaning. And that's what it did for me tonight. I was on my walk, and I was praying, and I was thinking about different things, and how a lot of my friends and people that I know are just dealing with people that, like families, they're just, the kids are being disrespectful to their parents, and the parents are having issues with the children, and it's just all kinds of stuff. And when I thought about a girl that one of my specific situations that one of my friends is in, I got an understanding of this, because when they're lashing out and they're saying horrible, hurtful things, and they're being just rude and hateful, basically, you're not fighting that person, because she even said that's not his normal, that's not how he is normally. That's not his nature. And I heard it's like you're not fighting that person in the flesh. You're fighting a spirit within them that's causing them to do and say the things that they're doing. I'm reading it again. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Or I'm going to translate. We don't wrestle against people, but against principalities, powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. That all comes down to one source, and that's Satan. So that person that you're surprised by their response, or you're surprised that they are acting so hateful, and especially if it's not like them to act that way. It's a satanic device that either that person is dealing with another issue that they're struggling with, or they're angry, or they're bitter, or any number of things could cause that person to act the way they do. But you're not fighting that person, you're fighting that spirit. And when we learn that we are fighting a spirit and not the person, we'll stop sending the text to try to talk to them and explain ourselves. We'll stop arguing. And that's why it says, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. So that means, and I've been in this position myself, where you try to talk, and you try to communicate, and you try to make them understand, and it's a spirit that sends, how can I put it? It's like the spirit that causes that person to not see what you're actually saying. They're taking any or all of it out of context and turning it around against you to mean something that you did not say. Or they will come up with these fabricated, like, stuff that you're like, what are they talking about? And it's like they're saying these things that ain't true, but it's like they're coming up with these things just so they'll hurt you, just because they know it would hurt, that word will hurt you. Because a lot of times too, if you've got them in a situation where the situation that's being discussed is not something they're comfortable with, and you basically lay it out like it is, and they don't like it, they're going to come back instead of facing that and saying, you know, I should probably work on that. You know, I apologize if that hurt your feelings, and I really didn't, you know, and just to take it in that way, but not these days. I've seen it too many times where they'll take that one little phrase and they'll turn it around against you, and they'll get angry with you because you said what you said, even though they know it's true, and they will deflect everything you say to where it frustrates you so bad that they get you off topic and they get you frustrated to where you can't speak what you want to speak in a correct way. So I was in this situation for a while, and I was the one that had to explain everything, and when they came back at me and said, you know, blah blah blah, I would say, no, that's not what I meant, this is what I meant. And I'm thinking, I'm talking to intelligent people, excuse me, they know what I meant, they know what I meant. They purposely turned that around against me to frustrate me, to make me upset, to get off topic, to where they wouldn't have to discuss what the real problem is. And so it's the spirit of what we got going on in the world. Everything is misquoted, misspoken. One phrase or one sentence will be taken out of context and used against you. I mean, it's I don't even know what you want to call that. But just know that when that happens, that's not the person. That's the spirit that they're fighting. And it's coming out of them venting towards you. So that's why it says to stand, meaning stop reacting, stop explaining, stop trying to prove your point, and stop, especially if you come back angry, because most of the time that spirit likes to see that it likes to see that it got you upset. It likes to see that you got your back up. It likes the reaction. And believe me when I tell you that if you don't react, that will bother them more than if you came back with a hostile response. Silence is deadly to that kind of a spirit. It don't like you being silent, because it can't read you. It can't read you when you're quiet. It wants to see you upset, and it wants to see you flustered. So I've been talking to my friend, and I've been trying to tell her, listen, honey, you're gonna have to just stop reacting in that way. If something is said and something is given to you in a text and it hurts you, makes you angry, and you know it's not true, especially if you know it's not true, and if it's just something being said just to see if they can get a rise out of you, because that's usually what happens. It's usually, if it's something that's not true and they know it's not true, it's just done to get a rise out of you or hurt your feelings, or both. So don't respond. Don't respond. I didn't say much of anything, and if I did say anything, it was either like okay or thumbs up. You know, I spent hours when I would try to sit and type or text or whatever or write, And then I'd have to go back and I'd think, well, if I said it this way, they're going to take it this way. So then I have to go back and rephrase, because everything I had to say, when they're in that sort of when that person is that way and they're taken over by that spirit, no matter what you say, you have to filter everything, and it is exhausting. So don't let that spirit upset you. If you run into that, don't feel the need to respond right away, because know that you are not fighting against that person. That person is being taken over or responding because of the spirit that's in this world, which is Satan. So that's why I don't know. I feel like, you're probably going to have more peace. I know you are, because it's hard to not respond. And if it's someone you love and it's your family, it's really hard not to talk to them, because you don't want to end up not talking to them. But you really aren't getting anywhere arguing, and you're not going to. You're more than likely going to say something that you're going to regret. And once those words leave your mouth, you can't not take them back. And believe me when I tell you, there are some words that just don't ever leave. You can apologize and say you're sorry, but the words, they're fiery darts, basically, that the fiery darts of the wicked, which come out of your mouth, they're meant to hurt you. They're meant to wound you. They really are. Because it's all about Satan wanting to see you upset and getting you weakened, because your heart is hurt so bad, because these words hurt you and they crush you. So it's hard to say, don't let it bother you, because it does. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, why would they want to hurt me like that? Why would they want to say that? Is it just to hurt me? It would have to be, because they know that's not true. But what they said hurt. So those words don't go away really, really anytime quickly. And so if you're fighting a battle right now, and especially if it's someone that you just can't, if it just seems like you're just going around in circles and you're not getting anywhere, and you're just, it's almost exhausting. It's like it's almost like you're afraid to open up their texts. You know what I mean? It's like you see their name come across your phone, or you see their caller ID or whatever, and you have to go, because the thought of the fact that you're going to have to sit here and mentally prepare every word that comes forth out of your mouth, so it won't be taken in a wrong way. It's exhausting. So remember, quit fighting against the person. If I can suggest anything to you, you don't have to respond. You can send short and sweet texts when you're not in the heat of the battle, when there's not an argument going on. Let it rest for a while, a few days, few weeks, whatever. And then come back with all you need to say is, I love you, I miss you, could you call me, can we talk about this in a, and just in a calm way, or just not even that. You don't even have to say that. Just say, I hope you have a good day, thinking of you, or something like that. So you're going to win them more with your love, because trying to argue and getting frustrated does not work. It doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes everybody hurts feelings, and you walk away, nothing's resolved. So if you can just don't give place to the devil. Don't give him an inch. If you see that he's working through it, even if it's a friend or a family member, to hurt you, stop it. Don't respond. Don't react. And pray for that person, because my thing is, they're taking it out on you, but something's going on in here that's hurting them. And if they're being hurt, then they need to figure out, how they can unleash that onto somebody else. So pray for them. That's the best thing you can do. And show them that you love them. Win them with kindness. And the rest of it, just, it's not worth your peace. It's not worth your tranquility. It's not worth your stress levels being elevated. It's not worth your blood pressure going up. None of that. When you realize what you're fighting and who you're fighting and how you can fight it on your knees, when I tell you, you're going to have so much more peace in your life, and your problems are going to end up being resolved so much better if you don't give place to that spirit that wants you to argue and be angry and possibly curse, because we've all done it. If you say you haven't, you're lying, because that's what happens when you get frustrated. You say things you don't mean or you shouldn't. Like I said, just be vigilant. I got mosquitoes buzzing around me. Be vigilant to understand you're not fighting flesh. You're not fighting that person. That person has been somehow, some way influenced by Satan, by their circumstances, and they're going to use that for a reason to lash out. And it's usually, especially if it's a child, it's usually they come back against the parent, because back in the back of their mind, they know that parent's going to love them regardless. You can say whatever you want, and they can tell you whatever they want. Yes, it's going to hurt, but you're still going to love them, and they know that. So if they're using you as a sounding board or whatever, just know that you're not fighting that person. You're not fighting them. You're fighting a spirit, and you need to fight it with the whole armor of God. Get on your knees, pray for that person, reach out to them in love, kill them with kindness, whatever you want to call it. But don't give place to that. It just isn't worth it, and you'll have much peace for it. So I just wanted to share that. That's just another thought I had on my walk tonight. So y'all, I'm gonna go in. I'm getting ate up by mosquitoes out here. So I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.